I'm Kelly Blue Chip, and welcome to Baby Got Bat on the Daily Blue. Today we have Chris Blue Chip joining us as our guest.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ron Burgundy.
And we also have Brittany Blue Chip, who was hiding down there for some reason. Recently back from her trip to the Pro Bowl.
Yes, I was.
You want to tell us about your trip?
Yes, I went to the Pro Bowl to see the Pro Bowl, and they did really well.
Where was this held?
Costa Rica, and the Golden Retriever just really stole the show. He was scoring puppy touchdowns like crazy, but also got to give some credit to that German Shepherd because he played really good defense out there. Really good.
I think she's talking about the Puppy Bowl, but...
Which hasn't happened yet. So that's pretty amazing that you were able to see that.
Okay, I wasn't there. I lied. I'm
definitely
sorry.
just saw some stray dogs in Costa Rica.
I did. There was a lot, yeah.
All right.
All right. Wait, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Wonderful.
Brittany is also sporting some
Sports gear.
Yes, and what would that be?
You told me to wear my sports team's gear, so I wore my Carolina Panthers gear.
It's not a thing. It's
And
not
they
a thing,
actually
really.
wear these hats. These are their helmets.
Was it
Made of fur for panther fur.
the Iditarod, maybe?
No, the Carolina Panthers. I don't know why they chose house cats, but
Well, the Panthers were eliminated.
Yeah.
well, you know.
Not even in it.
So even if you were actually wearing Panthers gear, they're out.
Well, I don't know why you're being so negative towards the Panthers, but you know. it's not
Let's talk about who is in. Seattle Seahawks and the Denver Broncos.
Well, I guess I should have worn my Seawolves jersey then. Sorry.
Stony Brook appreciates a
Love
shout out, but they're also not in the Super Bowl.
Well, I just figured because you guys are so against cats, next time I'm just wearing my dog jersey.
Not against cats, just like to be accurate.
Well, Chris is here today because he is going to give us his intake on the whole Sherman incident, which I'm sure if you follow football, you have heard about this. Even if you don't, it's been in the news everywhere. Chris, why don't you tell us your opinion?
Yeah, it was a. He's okay. He came off incredibly. He came off very incensed, and as everyone knows, Richard Sherman went on this crazy rant after the game against the 49ers, in which he called out Crabtree there on national television. But it really came off as a very aggressive vibe towards Aaron Andrews, which is really where I kind of you can see Aaron Andrews' face, and it's priceless to me. How as soon as he opens his mouth and starts trolling so hard, Aaron Andrews just face immediately like she was cornered in an alley and had just met Richard Sherman, and it was a very aggressive vibe, and honestly I feel it has no place on the football field at all. Press conferences, whatever aside, I'm sorry, it has a place on the football field, but it has no place in the press conference area or after the game when you're on national television. And it's kind of that, it sets the tone for what makes football a me sport. And it's not really a team sport. It's always look at me, look what I did. And that's really not the way I feel, especially when you're in a team sport, that's not the way it should be. You should never be like, look at me, I'm the best corner in the game, whatever. That it's not, I don't think that Richard Sherman was wrong for being aggressive towards Crabtree and talking trash. That's always going to happen in sports. But the bottom line is, your team won the game, your play was fantastic, but keep the spotlight on your team after the game, not you.
Yeah, and you really shouldn't talk to ladies like that.
I agree.
Yes.
I do agree.
My problem with this is I agree with what Chris is saying, and I don't think, and also what Brittany's saying, but it's one of those situations where on-field interviews are kind of a weird thing for me, where I think 99% of the time they're completely pointless and you get nothing out of them. And then there's 1% of the time, like this, where you get a situation that occurs. And for me, it was, this guy has been talking trash about him all week leading up to this game. And Sherman's known for being like this already, so you have a guy who's already so confident and always talking about he's the best. Then you have another guy who's talking him down all week. Then you make a play against him that sends your team to the Super Bowl, and you come up to him 10 seconds later with a microphone in his face. He's gonna go off. Do I think he shouldn't have? No, but at the same time, I appreciate him being honest and not giving a cliche kind of speech, which everyone just expects everyone to do. He did apologize for taking away from his team, which he did. But I don't know. I have to say, the way if he went on and he was cursing and he wasn't making sense, but he was in some way articulate with what he was saying. He didn't stutter over his words. He didn't curse. But I don't know. It's one of those weird.
He was articulate to me the same way that a guy accosting another human being would be articulate.
Yeah,
I mean, he was incredibly incensed and aggressive.
Yeah.
And yes, I guess he was articulate in a way. But I mean, you're talking to a guy who graduated Stanford. You can't get into there without being an educated guy and well spoken.
He also graduated second in his class.
Right, and he has a lot on his resume that it would indicate that he's an intelligent guy that's able to separate himself. And I understand it's the heat of the moment, heat of battle. You're going to have that kind of lashing out thing. But I mean, he has a history of this too. And Crabtree notwithstanding, because that guy also has a history of being a trash talker. But Sherman has a history of being completely belligerent when it comes to trash talking and being outspoken and being unruly. So I just feel like he doesn't let his game do the talking for him.
Yes.
And a lot of people in that situation would, but I mean, I wouldn't say anything if this was high school football or a private league or whatever. You're a professional, you're getting paid to be at the pinnacle of your sport to set an example for people, and I think that whole me mentality is not the way you want a team sport to be. And I always go back to hockey because I'm a diehard hockey fan, and one of the things I always say is at the end of every game you get the handshake line, and you'll never see a guy going out there, I'm the best center in the game. It's never.
And we did this, our
exactly,
team did that.
my team did this, great goaltending, whatever. But I always think that team sports need to kind of focus on this as a team effort, not whatever. I had a great play, it was a fantastic thing, but
that's the other thing you took away from, where he's a guy that doesn't like being called a thug and all this, and he's upset that that's what he's being called now. He says he's tried to get away from that.
Right. What do you expect?
That's what comes with it. So that's another thing I have an issue with. You want to do that, that's fine, that's your own personal thing, but don't not expect that backlash.
Well, it's something that you see in all sports too. Like even when I was watching the Pro Bowl, like sometimes the pit bulls would just be barking and barking at the other dogs, and they'd be so offended, and I felt genuinely bad for the Chihuahuas because
pit bulls have that reputation.
They got a size advantage too. It's not even fair.
It's not fair.
You eat 10 Chihuahuas for lunch or an appetizer.
Yeah. So I just felt bad. Honestly, my take is that if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. You had a high GPA. You should know this.
No.
Good advice from Brittany. All right. Well, we want to know your take on the Sherman incident. Let us know what you think, whether he was right, in the wrong. Let us know.
He's in the doghouse.
He's definitely in the doghouse, that's for sure.
Not in the Panther house.
No.
That's a cat.
All right. So leave us
It is a
comments,
cat.
questions. Don't forget to check us out on the Daily Blue.